Okay, here we go. Check one. Check one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is happening. Right now I can hear it. Outside the purring of my lawnmower. My 12-year-old is out there. Is he 12 or 13? I don't even know. I think he's 12. Anyway, he just finished. I don't even know what grade he finished. He finished 7th grade. And he is out there mowing the lawn. It's the push mower that doesn't have the drive belt, so it doesn't. You got to push it. It's brutal. It's tough. Some of the lawn is 3 feet tall. It's wet. It's a nightmare. Anyway, but he is out there doing it right now. He has learned several lessons. He's learned how to pull the ripcord and get the thing started, which is good. It takes some doing, especially when it gets stopped. Stuffed full of lawn stuff. He is, I assume, running over all sorts of toys and hoses out there. And I don't care. It's such a good successful feeling that I may be able to make progress because he is. And by the way, he's not doing this. He couldn't do. He finally got desperate yesterday. He's out of money. His bros are like going on vacations and stuff, and like camping and stuff. So he's a desperate man. He's low, and he's looking to make some money. And he had made money over this winter shoveling and then doing some things here. Doing some stuff here and there. But business fell off. And now he is desperate. He wants to make some money. So if he mows that lawn, at least the majority of it, I'll give him $20. Even if it comes out to be what a landscaper, like, I don't care. I'm going to give him money to mow the lawn because it kills me to watch it not done and not be able to do it. And like today I was traveling, I did a bunch of shows today and sometimes it's just too hot in the middle of the day. If it's too hot in the middle of the day, I can do it. Then my battery gets wiped too easily, and I'm a fat guy. Come on, that's the Canadians ruin the air. But so anyway, this is a very good piece of. This is good. If I could get him doing all the stuff, weeds, the bittersweet, throwing all sorts of stuff out because there's garden areas that have been overgrown in this house. Like before. 20 years ago, the person who lived here like really had a magnificent set of gardens here, and of course the Shaddocks moved in, and so now it's just rubble. Looks like the Russians have been pounding a place with artillery for 2 years. But it could be restored, and that would be great. That would be a great feeling, And then if I could do that with my daughter inside, so that we could start really deep cleaning some rooms, and some rooms are better than others, but you've got little kids, and there's just not enough. It's just not enough. There's not enough time. There's too many enemies, which are the little kids. But that would be great. Right now, she is 2 kids. She's watching the baby, a little guy, and she and another son. One other son just called her a bitch. That's the 8-year-old who swears like a longshoreman, and. He says stuff that at his age he should not be saying. So he now refuses to do any work. He is on strike somewhere. He's angry at the world. He's got anger issues. This guy. He's got big anger issues. And so he's on strike somewhere. And my daughter and the other son are cooking the rice for the chicken that I've got marinating. Teriyaki chicken and some other thing. So there you go. Alice has abandoned us today. She's in the city. They're going team building. They're doing team building stuff. They're going kayaking, which I think is great. going kayaking, then they're going to have dinner in the city, and then come back and repeat tomorrow for some more team building. Kayaking in the Charles River, which I find to be very convenient for me. I don't care. I'm not going to let that ruin it, because I want to introduce you to a lady. If you don't already know her, then maybe you already know her, and I'm the last one. But this lady's great. By the way, congrats to Jack Gately, who we're going to have on the Meatwire TV tomorrow, who's kicking ass, breaking all these huge stories. Good for you, Jack. Sorry. But here's the this lady's name is Kat. Have you heard of her? Catherine Burblesing. Maybe one of you guys told me about her the other day. He's headmaster of Michaela Community School in London, UK. We went to Oxford. She sounds like an American to me, but what do I know? But listen to her talking about all the socialism and all the way the left uses language to move us around and bully us and put us back on our heels. I don't believe I've missed this lady my whole life. Well, let me find it. Are you ready? Hope you're ready.
The culture shift comes from what children learn at school and online. Ask any young person what history they learned at school, and they'll tell you Hitler. Ask them what else? Slavery. Ask them what else? American civil rights. In fact, what little they know of history will be all about black and brown people fighting for equality against the white man. Women fighting men for the vote. Gay and trans people fighting for various rights. Our young people have been taught that history is simply one long story about various groups struggling under the oppressive dead white man. Out with Dickens, Shakespeare, Kipling, and Wordsworth. We must decolonize. History is taught through an oppressor lens. The triangular slave trade, white men held the power. What about Britain ending the slave trade? More than a quick mention, if at all? No. What of the Arab slave trade that lasted 3 times as long as the triangular slave trade? No. Okay, so GCSE history in Britain is often taught as migration through time. So the idea that Britain has always been a land of immigrants is embedded in our children's heads. Most schools would prefer to concentrate learning about the tiny number of black people who existed in Tudor England over a thorough analysis of England's break from Rome. Medieval history becomes her story and is told through the eyes of Eleanor of Aquitaine, because after all, she was a woman. Not to mention weeks on King Mansa Musa of Mali, because he was a black Muslim. His bearing on British institutions, laws, and faith is non-existent. And the fact that he is said to have been the richest man in history, thanks in part to his massive slave-owning society, is a detail somehow that teachers rarely ever teach. But it isn't just our schools. It's our general culture, too. Take your kids to a museum or an art gallery in any Western country, and you'll find the same narrative. As an example, when learning about aviation in London's Science Museum and the extraordinary feat that is man making massive machines move in the sky, a write-up on the wall explains that women and black people were historically barred from aviation schools and the military.
I love this so much because
James Watt.
Because this is the sign I have in my town about Native Americans in the wars in the Abenaki going way back. Like, it's all the context and disclaimers they put everywhere that she's talking about, and I freaking love this.
From aviation schools and the military. Similarly, James Watt, the man who invented the steam engine and is considered the founder of the Industrial Revolution, has a write-up on the wall explaining that his early career involved slave trafficking with a bonus analysis of the whole of Britain's complicity in the slave trade. They flatten the entire human story and all of its complexities into the narrative of oppressor and oppressed, leaving young people unable to see the world in any other terms.
There's one other thing that I want to show you from this woman.
Hold on, I guess this is somebody else's podcast. I guess that's it. Anyway, she's fantastic. She's fantastic. And it's like, yeah, like everybody else is just all these weird cancerous people with cancerous backgrounds and just they're flim-flam talkers and bleep talkers. It's from the Mass Daily News. Boston's reparations task force, the reparations task force. So we're going to give money to black people in Boston. Like who's getting it? First of all, there are no slaves in Boston. And so who's getting it? How are we going to decide who did what and what? As Taylor said this morning when I was hosting the Grace Curley show, it's like, does Sonny Hostin have to pay? Because her families were slaveholders. Boston's reparations task force in shambles after Wu hired expert has her slavery history book found to contain multiple errors of fact and citation. No. A lazy grifter? The Tufts historian Mayor Michelle Wu's Boston hired with taxpayer money to co-write the city's reparation report is a scholarly pariah. Her signature book has been yanked from print by its publisher over multiple errors of fact. Her university placed her on leave, and Boston's long-promised reparations report, which she was hired to help deliver, has just missed yet another deadline. Carrie K. Greenidge, formerly a tenured associate professor at Tufts, not shocked, was tapped by Boston in 2024 as one lead of two research teams, paid a total of $500,000 in city taxpayer money to write the definitive academic study of Massachusetts' role in the transatlantic slave trade from 1620 through 1940. The foundational document supporters have long described as the eventual case for cash reparations to descendants of the enslaved in Boston. Greenidge's Tufts team drew the earlier era. I don't know how to read, apparently. Greenidge's Tufts team drew the earlier era. I don't know. The Northeastern University team, led by historian Margaret Burnham, took the modern period. You get it now. That $500,000 research contract is only one line of the Reparation Task Force budget. The task force also has carried a recurring annual operational community grants line. Wu's proposed fiscal year 27 budget cuts about $357,000 from it as research phase concludes, meaning it's been running with at least that much every year since fiscal 2024. Reparations activists in May protested those cuts and demanded the city allocate no less than $2 million to the effort. But we're shocked, right? The trouble started 3 years ago with the Grimkeys, Greenidge's 2022 book on a South Carolina slaveholding family that also produced prominent abolitionists. A formal complaint about the book's scholarship arrived at Tufts in late 2022. The university's own external peer reviewers came back with a verdict. The book contained multiple errors of fact and citation. Reviewer Myra Glenn wrote that it lacks the evidence to substantiate many of her major claims and is riddled with factual errors and repeatedly omits needed endnotes. In October 2025, Tufts placed Greenidge on leave. She no longer works there. Liverite, an imprint of W.W. Norton, pulled the book from its website in 2026. For nearly 2 years, from Boston's 2024 hire through Tufts placing her on leave in October 2025, Boston officials kept paying her, of course it is, while her university was formally reviewing her scholarship. By the way, since this is in Mass Daily News, look for Sue O'Connell to criticize this, whether or not this is a valid reporting platform. Neither the peer review findings nor her October 25 leave from Tufts interrupted the arrangement. Nobody at City Hall apparently thought to check in on the woman being paid to co-author the city's mostly politically sensitive report of the decade. Yada, 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 yada. Greenidge is defiant. She told the Times that there may have been some incorrect citations in her book, but the substance of the finding, the peer review, the missing endnotes, the withdrawn book, was not really about her scholarship at all, she argued. It was, in her words, an attack on black women in academics. Oh, of course it was. Of course it was. Can you imagine? But it doesn't end there. These people are so mediocre and so woke and so broken that they're simply, if they don't do activism, they have nothing else to do. Here's Mayor Karen Bass, unable to answer any question about anything.
And I took a look at your infrastructure plan, and it's quite long and detailed.
Right.
It seems to be focused on how things are done or the priorities that you choose, whatever you're going to be improving, and not with the money. It doesn't seem to identify money to speed up these projects. And we're talking about, for example, with water mains. There's 7,400 miles of water mains in the city of Los Angeles, some of them dating back 110, 120 years.
Right.
We're only going to be replacing 45 miles of the 7,400 this year. That's like less than 1%. If you do the math, it will take 164 years.
Well, and also the issue there
Listen to
is
this.
how we speed that up.
Well,
and
where does the money come from?
Well, hold on. With our new general manager, he is looking at going much, much faster. But I will tell you, an infrastructure plan, the other role I serve is on the Metro board. We develop Metro projects.
Wait. Why are we moving right along? What had just happened? It's like Obama when they ask him about the White Sox and can't name any. He's like, and I like some of the Cubs too. It's like, whoa, hold on. You couldn't name any White Sox.
Even come online for another 10 or 15 years. You don't plan the money 10 or 15 years in advance, but the whole point of having a plan is so that you can actually do that, and then on the financing you'll figure out along the way. But I'm going to tell you one thing, is that we need to demonstrate to voters that we can deliver, because we are going to have to ask voters for their help. Hopefully, one of these days we'll have a friendlier administration in Washington, D.C. Finances will be better in the state, and we will be able to finance it, but you finance it along the way.
In other words, she's an activist and ain't nothing going to happen. Nothing's going to happen whatsoever. Here's Elizabeth Warren endorsing the socialist of the day. This is Abdul El Sayed. He's just another one of these 9/11 fans.
I'm endorsing Abdul El Sayed for Senate in Michigan.
Another socialist, nothing
Abdul is
activist.
the only candidate in this race not taking corporate money, and he's fighting to get money out of politics altogether. Abdul studied to be a doctor, and he's fighting for every single American to have a
Now, if he studied to be a doctor, then is he a doctor? Not really. That's why she said it like that. These freaking fork-tongued weasels.
affordable, high-quality health care. Abdul has been a card-carrying union member, and he's fighting for working people. That's why he's endorsed by
Mostly he's a spoiled rich kid who's done nothing his entire life, but decided he's going to be a cool socialist, giveaway money guy.
United Auto Workers, and he's growing a movement of working people all across Michigan.
We got to check into my buddy McKay, my buddy Evan.
That's why I'm endorsing Abdul. He is the fighter Michigan needs in the Senate. Michiganders deserve a senator who will fight for you.
I don't like when anybody, especially people from Michigan, call themselves Michiganders. And when people from outside the state say it, I think they should be incarcerated.
Not for special interests running millions of dollars in TV ads to buy this seat. And make no mistake, Abdul is the only candidate in this race who can build the grassroots movement needed to win in November. For money in your pocket, to get money out of politics, and deliver Medicare for all. Michigan, let's get this done.
Remember, the last thing she said was Graham Plattner's my kind of guy. So I'm all for it. Go ahead. I'm not going to play this because you're going to freaking throw up the thing about Ashley Webb and mucus. Okay, do you get me? Okay, so we're not going to play it. Let me check on my guy Evan. That's Evan McKay. Evan McKay. Hold on. I just want to check on my guy Evan. I forgot I was going to do this for. Oh, God. Evan for Cambridge. Let's see what he's up to. July 16th. This is the newest thing he's got?
People coming together to defeat the status quo. We've got a big canvas coming up next Saturday, July 18th at noon in Harvard Square. It's
Harvard what? It says Boston DSA in his red shirt.
It's going to take so many people coming together to defeat the status quo of State House leadership, where they pass the fewest number of bills.
Why are you using so many S's? I don't get it. You know what you're doing. Why are you using so many S's?
Where they rank dead last in government transparency. We need to have a state legislature that we can be proud of, and it's gonna take all of us. We've got a big canvas next week. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and we're gonna have a special guest.
Organized people be
Organized money.
This is, I believe, a Hamas lesbian who was just right there that we just saw. Special guest.
It's amazing to think that 3 of the people who signed the Declaration of Independence are buried right here. But did you know that there's another graveyard just beyond that building?
That's the old granary burial ground. Oh, he's looking at the State House.
It's the State House, where bills go to die. Right now, we have a cost of living crisis, a climate crisis, a fascism crisis, all made worse because the Massachusetts State House is the least productive legislature in the entire country. State House leadership and their powerful...
A fascist crisis.
We do this job because we love our patients and we love being there.
As the nurses. Okay. Let me get back to my audio. By the way, you want to hear some of the... This is from Brad Palumbo. This is some of the things that are the DSA's new platform. And this is what it includes. No more bills for anybody. So the bills all go away. Nobody has to pay. It doesn't. It's just going away. Government-run food, housing, medicine, transportation, and nationalizing all other large corporations and essential industries. The drafting of a, quote, new constitution. Defunding the Department of War. By the way, defunding the Department of War is not going to be a drop in the bucket at this point, now that you've made everything free. Slavery reparations, we've heard about that. Unlimited free abortion and gender-affirming care. Are we still doing the gender-affirming? Like, that's not over yet? 7, have taxpayers pay off everyone's entire student loan debt and fund unlimited free higher education for all. 8, taking steps toward fully abolishing the police and prison system. 9, ending all deportations, providing amnesty for all illegal immigrants. 10, abolish the presidencies of the Supreme Court and the Senate. That's just what they're up to. And, like, this is the real thing. These people, this is where we are now. These people want this. Like, they really want this. Oh. So this guy, Orion Clark, was fired by...
And it is why I support ripping ICE apart and holding them accountable.
Peggy Flanagan. Another DSA person.
That's right.
Are you really comfortable with where she is taking you?
I don't know who this is. I think he throws up. Okay, stop it. I'm not trying to play this stuff. I'm just trying to scroll to my good cuts.
I want to be straight with you.
Nancy Mace.
I'm not running for the U.S. Senate. Not because I'm backing down from a fight, but because the one I'm already in matters right now. The laws meant to protect me and other women failed us, and I won't stop until that changes. So I'm not chasing another title. I'm chasing justice. Justice for me. Justice for other women.
This is from the dude who doxed her or sexted her. Is that it?
I saw the Odyssey over the weekend. I'm gonna.
Okay, it was Dave Rubin on the Odyssey. Everybody's giving the Odyssey good. As Trump would say, good marks. I'm not going to give it good marks. No matter what. Can you stop playing? I've got. God, this was just auto playing. I'm gonna just shut this old window down. I'm not gonna see it. I don't care about the Odyssey. I don't see how it could be something that's going to make me feel good. I've been watching some older movies with the kids. Last night we rewatched Harry and the Henderson, which I assume is kind of like the Odyssey. Harry and the Hendersons. Good movie. It is weird to see John Lithgow so much younger than I am now. And like all these actors are, and they're like back then they were in their 40s, and they're like the woman who's in it, who was in everything that plays a wife, she was in everything in the 80s. But it's just weird to see just how pretty they all like. How as middle-aged women, back then they were like my mom's age, but they were like very, very pretty. Let's see. Let me see. Cheswick facts and citation. I know. Tom, you were one more Paul kiss away from sounding like Evan. That is incorrect. Paul kissed me. Well, my daughter somehow got information that I kissed Paul. It is not true. He kissed me. He had been buying me drinks, and I think my friend drinks. Paul was into me. The problem, ultimately, with Paul was, one, he was a human being man, and two, that he also hung out at another. Why am I have now Biff's hairline? I am now 3/4 bald since yesterday. Who cares? Oh, by the way, I also was on a train today, and it ran over somebody in West Medford. Very interesting. I wrote it up for the Main Wire. Very interesting. They're like, a trespasser has been struck by the train. Wow, interesting way to put it. A trespasser. I guess they're taught to say that. But the crew was pretty good about the whole thing, because I can imagine, like, you don't want to be hanging around watching that thing. That's a tough way to go. You're serious about it, man. If you're tossing yourself in front of a train, you have had it and you are out. But that is, well, I guess most ways to commit suicide. Like, one time my brother lives on the Boston Harbor in a houseboat. We were hanging out one time. This might have been pre-Alice or right when she came into my life. We were hanging around out in this boat, and suddenly all the police boats and Coast Guard boats sped towards the Tobin Bridge. And we found out, maybe through Twitter or maybe through the scanner that you have in the harbor, that it was a jumper. A jumper had jumped off the Tobin Bridge. They always die. This guy lived at least for a while. Like, it's no bueno. I don't like that. I do not like that. I do not know. But like the places you'd have to be. I'm not saying that the person who got hit by the train today was hit because they were trying to kill themselves, but I don't know. I was talking to my son about this. My 12-year-old, my lawnmower. And he was like, "Yeah, I think it's got to be." And I said, "Yeah, I think you're right. It's probably got to be. I mean, what else could it be? All apologies, right?" All right. What else is going on? I talked to a bunch of people in media today. Kind of people doing what I'm doing. Very few people are happy. Very few people. I'm not going to give you any names. You know them all. But with the exception of, I mean, that's why the Main Wire right now is going so well, because I haven't been into a media or worked in a media place with morale this good ever. Ever. By the time I got into radio in 2004, like the old timers were telling me about the heydays of radio. And you knew, that things were changing as well. That those days were ending. But like, and there are some people who still go, who still do that, still go to a station. And I talked to somebody who said, I should grab a good producer and go pitch myself to one of these companies like OAN, whatever, and for like an online show. And I kind of like this. I like doing this show. And if this show is not the thing that makes me millions of dollars, then I enjoy doing it. And I've got a full-time job anyway. And, this is works for me. This is more than just a show. This is, it's a depository of sorts. And, it's a forum of folks. And I don't want to, I'm sorry. Not that people are not exactly pushing my door down. I'm more in demand ever for fill-in now than ever. When I wasn't, I was written off 3 years ago during the Times, by everybody, and now it's like all sorts of people want me filling in and want me doing this and that. I like it. It's like for fill-in work, it's great. I like filling in for Jerry. That hour is, I'm not going to say it's easy because you've got to talk for an hour and you've got to think things through. But I keep myself in pretty good, talking stuff shape. Between this show and Jerry, and also Alice and I always talk politics. We never not talk politics or culture. We just talk to each other. That's one of the reasons we got brought together, even when she was practically just too young for me, and I was 37 and she was 23, and my best friend and his wife were like, okay, that's great, you're having fun, but you can't be serious about her. I said, no, wait, she's too young. Yeah. But she never stopped being interesting and intellectually impressive and like, super knowledgeable and fun and engaged. And it's like, well, she's still like being like excellent, and she's beautiful. Like, who am I to say no? She's the one that loses here. Like, so like that's just it. So I mean, it's my life. It's probably, I know it's some of your lives because some of you we like text through the day. Some of you are talking about this stuff anyway. But okay, I'm gonna do the chat. I know it might seem early, but I haven't cooked for these kids yet. Alice is down in Boston getting hammered with her work people, and I am up here. And I've got to feed them. There's 5 of them down there. I am looking forward to it. The stuff has been marinating, so that's good. All right, here we go. What do I call this one? Ooh, big chat.
Hey, Billy from Manchester. You know,
Hey, Billy.
so you got to go back. The unprofessionalism. I know it's a joke. It's really getting to a point now. So he's got the DSA guy on, right? He's got the clip of the DSA guy. Not a long clip, fine. He's commenting on it. This is Tom, by the way.
Yeah.
Commenting on the clip. He's got something in his throat. I don't know what the frig is going on there, but it's disgusting. He's gargling it out.
Is that true?
And then he goes back to talk, and then he gargles it out again, and then you hear that stupid little. That little whatever you want to call it, that noise that we're going to commercial. So it's like it's literally the last 30 seconds prior to this message was an idiot talking, a guy gargling, and then going right to commercial. This whatever this like little cymbal sound is to go to commercial.
I don't love the noise either.
Just awful placement of everything. I hate this show.
I do. I hate part of that. I don't love that noise. I could probably customize that. I should check it out. I'll check it out. I sometimes wake up, like this show auto plays sometimes, so I'll wake up at like 3 a.m. and I'll hear that and I'll be like, I don't love that. And the fact that it's like the generic one, that's a little rent, Tom. Come on.
I'm a main guy. They call him Tom the Repeater.
What? No.
Repeating Tom. That's what they call him.
No, they do not call me that.
He repeats all of his shows. Tom, the burn barreler who called and left the chat about you, and he only has to listen to one show when you're on Grace, just listens to the Grace show because he doesn't have to listen to the burn barrel. But he's correct.
Incorrect.
Repeating Tom. That's what they call him. Just repeating Tom. If it wasn't for Gately breaking that news about Ayanna Presley's husband's non-existent LLC, there'd be nothing to talk about.
That's incorrect. That's how he actually came in and in this commercial break, which he gave me essentially show notes, which probably isn't great for me because I was missing stuff. But yeah, he told me about that. I didn't know that Gately had done that. I'd been on the road and I'd been writing as well a news thing on the train crash, and so I don't, sometimes I'm in transit, I don't get everything, but so here's the thing. I don't get personal really on Jerry's show like I do on this show. So stories or stuff I'll bring up here I don't do on Jerry's show. And again, if it's it's Monday morning, so I've done a show Sunday night and I have gathered everything there is from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for Sunday night. And so, like, I don't know how many different shows you want to do, but once you're out of ammo, you're out of ammo. And that's all the ammo. But I do try to mix them up a little bit and throw something else in there. And I don't usually ever talk about, I talked on Grace today about Boston politics and Ayanna Presley and stuff like that, which I don't usually do. But I did, and I'll have to do more of it, actually, because that's right where Howie is. And I mentioned that, like, I've been out of Massachusetts politics, too. Which, in retrospect, considering Howie's in the next room listening, maybe I shouldn't have. But I kind of have been, my head stuck in Maine a little bit, and so we'll see. But no, like repeating during shows. Now, if I repeat the same joke, that is a bit hacky, and I don't love that, and I don't love hearing that other places. But but that said, there's one of me, and I speak one language and do one genre of show essentially, and I'm just me. And so, like, unless you want me to talk about the French Impressionists, I'm going to talk about Tom stuff, and that's stuff I like talking about. And so they've asked me to come out and talk about the hot stuff, and there's a case to be made for, like, maybe somebody hoping that I'm not repeating a show on their show, but like today, Howie, Tom, Kuhner, Jerry, Grace, Gately, maybe his was a little different today. We're all going to be hitting the same big things. It doesn't matter. We just are. We're going to go where the heat is, ideally something local, and that's like what it is. So yeah, that is it. But I mean, also, it's like saying I'm playing the same golf course. It's not the same game. Don't worry about it. Okay, here we go.
Hey, Billy from Manchester.
Billy.
I know you're getting a lot of crap because you're on these shows and you're repeating stories everywhere. We all know that.
I have to put an invoice in. That's right. Oh, to Newsmax. I forgot about that. I'm late on that.
But are we? I think I do believe this happened. I believe on Jerry's show Friday, you mentioned the person with the tall ships who was offended by the tall ships because it means something.
Yes.
On Jerry's show, it was a guy, but on your show, it was a girl. So, what are you doing there, Tom Barnacle? Tom Cullen. Unbelievable.
Well,
just really unbelievable. 38 seconds.
Billy, that's a great catch. It's a great catch. I will tell you what I'm doing. Depending on the audience, who I think might be listening in the audience, I'm changing some identities in some places, in some times, in some occupations, because there are people who would know that incident, and I don't really have permission to tell the story. I don't have permission from the original storyteller. So that's what happened there. So that's a good catch. Sometimes I do that if I'm telling a story about somebody who's like sometimes I'll change a detail, but the gist of the story is the same. But just to cover myself, or if I don't have permission to tell the story, but I do it for you. I'm changing it so I can tell you, give you this gold, and I'll give you a hint about something. Some people had questioned my story about the hand touch, and another aspect of that whole thing, and maybe that was mildly tweaked. Just saying. I'm still cool in it, and chicks were digging me, so that's all that matters.
Tom Shattuck, this is your AI responding to your inquiry about your downloads not being sent to your wife and yourself. The problem is, Tom, some dumbass didn't send it right. Thus, it didn't get
That is
sent
incorrect.
to the proper locations.
That is incorrect.
Just wanted to let you know. 27 seconds.
That is incorrect. Although I did send something to Howie's team today, a video that I had done, and they said, "Where's the video? Where's the video?" I said, "I already sent it. You guys got it." I think somebody said you got it, and nobody had said they got it. It was an old response saying, "Got it." It never went through. Because I sent it. I did a video. It was a minute long. I drove off in my car down towards Needham to the studio, and it never uploaded on Gmail. Whatever, freaking. So now I just lied. I didn't lie though. I did a good. It was a good video. It was a funny video.
Hi, Steve from Merrimack.
Hey, Steve.
I'd like to correct something that Tom got completely wrong, as usual, last week when Billy from Manchester was complaining about something, mentioning VB. And Tom said, Steve hates VB because he used to screen his calls out.
Correct. That is correct.
That is a total crock of shit. I never got screened out as a caller to the Howie Carr Show. I got on every time I called. What VB did do was blow me up on the air 3 times when I challenged his stupid opinions about a variety of topics, most especially movies.
Wow.
Okay? And speaking of...
So was that on VB's Pleasure Pit or a Howie show? Because, well, in his pleasure put, he wouldn't have blown you up. Although he could give it a sign to blow you up, I guess. But on Howie's show, VB never pushed any buttons. So he just booked guests and talked and called. And he half-assed it. Or he did a beautiful person's producer job. They don't make those anymore.
Stupid opinions. Where do you get off denigrating funk?
Oh, it
Jesus
sucks.
Christ. You
Funk blows. Oh my God, Steve, that is such a gay take by you. Funk blows. Oh, blows.
movies. Okay? And speaking of stupid opinions, where do you get off denigrating funk?
Sucks.
Jesus Christ. Your opinions are so bad on everything.
That is incorrect.
Movies, music, just name it. Oh, you're just again, as Gore Vidal once said of George H.W. Bush, a toothache of a human being. Thank you.
George H.W. Bush was a wonderful human being. Funk sucks. Actually, at the Phoenix in Cambridge, they used to have this funk band would come in the 90s, mid-90s, one day a week. I hated them. And sometimes I used to go up to the lead singer, the funk guy, and say, like in between sets, and he'd say, "Oh, you're really good. That's great. Your music's great." And I was hoping to show him telepathically that I didn't mean any of it. I hate funk sucks. Oh, what a cop-out. God, what a cop-out funk is. We're too good at our instruments, and we want to be drunker and more high than the jazz guys, so we're going to do something that's slap bassy. Great.
Hey, Tom. Tommy NH.
Hey, Tommy.
Driving home from work. Thought I'd call in, help you out on that movie reference yesterday in Young Frankenstein.
Yes.
You did the usual, threw out a bunch of names.
Yeah. Marty Feldman.
Correct.
Ha-ha.
Paul Newman, Robert Redford, Will Geer.
Will Geer.
I don't know. So anyway, Marty Feldman.
Thank you.
That's who you were looking for.
See, Tommy?
And he did have two eyes, my friend. Two eyes.
Did he?
Not one, two.
So I don't know how I just got it. You tripped it up in me to have it, Tommy. So maybe you're like smelling salts. I need to have you around to know. Marty Feldman. Okay. Marty Feldman. You know who I can never get is the lady who did the movies about swimming in the 50s, who married like Lorenzo Lamas' dad. I always say Gertrude Ederle, but it's not. What's her name? The lady who does the swimming movies. She might have been in the Olympics or something. It always goes away from me. Oh, Gertrude Ederle, Sophie.
Well, I see that we've updated the 3 most common lies told.
What?
Check is in the mail. I did not have that third margarita.
Mm-hmm.
And she touched my hand.
Incorrect.
Please.
How dare you? How dare you question the veracity of Tom Shattuck? Go check tape. It's at the Thirsty Whale. You will see it. Thirsty Whale. Check tape. And I'll take your heartfelt apology because indeed she was into it. She thought it was cool. And this is the summer of Tom. How am I just learning about your opinion? Funk sucks. Liz, God, I am not a musical moron. No, funk blows, dude. This is a no funk house. There are very few rules in this house, but I'll tell you what they are. My daughter knows this. No Bon Jovi, no funk, and certainly no Oasis. Not in my house. In this house, we believe that funk blows, and it does. Maybe that'll be the name of this episode. Funk blows. Why the hell not? Although it doesn't help with SEO. Not that matters. Okay, do I have another one? Is that it? I was correct. You are incorrect, Tim. How dare you? Incorrect. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate that. Thanks for hanging out. Sure, I gotta go. I gotta go feed the kiddos. As my old neighbor used to say, I gotta get veg into my kids. Funk blows, indeed. It is not a fact. It is not opinion. That is fact. Guys, thanks so much for listening. Thanks for being in the chat. Do more chat stuff. And if you haven't called the chat, call the chat. It's burnbarrelpodcast.com. Let's go.
C'est la vie.
Why is Steve from Merrimack liking funk?